I'm here tonight to speak about the inconsistencies that I object to in your fact sheet that was sent out in your agenda starting at page 177. Please follow along and you'll see what I'm referring to. My first comment is about changing the official community plan, paragraph 2, page 177, from residential small holdings to neighborhood. Lot 13, 461 in Quatsino is still in Strawberry Meadows, which is a residential small holdings. One single lot does not a neighborhood make, and there's no reason at this time to change the designation to neighborhood. In the third paragraph under zoning bylaw 1934, for some reason has changed from R3 mixed use social housing zone to R3C social housing development zone. Could you please have planning explain to me why the name of the new zone has changed in the middle of this process? Am I allowed to ask a question like that and get a response, or is that something we're going to have to get later?
Probably have to grab it later. I know she's writing it down, so carry on and then...
Okay, in the third paragraph, that's where the mixed use housing zone changed. Page 178, second paragraph. Once again, we talk about the neighborhood, but by adding the words neighborhood to the zoning and OCP change, we have automatically added housing for seniors, group homes, manufactured home parks, neighborhoods supporting commercial uses, temporary worker accommodations, institutional uses, and parks and recreation. A lot of these were never requested by TSW. Why are they automatically being included now?
So that one I can answer, Jack. It's the zoning that actually specifies the use on that site. Neighborhood in our OCP means all of these different things. However, for this site, it is specifically zoned and it has restrictions on it that don't include the mobile homes or anything like that. So it's the zoning that actually specifies what type of neighborhood, let's say, it's going to be, what's allowed there.
So we're changing the zoning to take away institutional, but we're putting it back in again?
I'll let our director of planning answer that if she can.
So through to members of council and members of the public audience, the mayor is correct in that the OCP designation allows a variety of zones within a broader area of neighborhood. In this particular case, we are applying the OCP designation to the one lot that is currently limited to Strawberry Meadows, large lot residential. So I think that that OCP designation change is similar to what happened to Blackberry Street, which is also zoned or designated in the OCP as as neighborhood. Sorry.
No, in the OCP, Blackberry Street is designated as residential. Nevertheless, why are we changing the OCP with all these categories for a single lot? That single lot is designated as mixed use social housing. Why does it include all of these other categories? If it's a single lot, it should be specific to that single lot. I'll go on. Third paragraph, 461 Quatsino is not located in an intensive multifamily residential development permit area. It is in Strawberry Meadows and is in a small holding rural residential subdivision. I object to changing the OCP designation to neighborhood. Page 179, paragraph 2 states that there was an error in the notice of public hearing that the bylaw was to apply for the entire parcel. That's not a true fact, Your Honor. TSW only wanted the rezoning to happen on Lot 1 of the proposed subdivision of Lot 461. That's in their application. I've seen their application and I've reviewed it intensively. For some reason, Planning Department convinced Council to change the bylaw to cover the entire parcel. Please have planning explain to me why the entire parcel is being rezoned when the portion required by TSW, only that portion needs rezoning. I'll carry on. The change does not reduce the possibility these lands may be used for certain uses to which the neighborhood has objected. That's not true. The neighborhood has never objected to G1 zoning and the uses included therein. Paragraph 4 states that principal uses for the proposed R3 zone are social housing and senior citizen housing. Senior citizen housing was never included in the original request for mixed-use social housing zone. Please have planning explain to me why seniors housing was added to that zoning. Page 180, assessed value of the land. I have reviewed both professional appraisals and they are substantially different from one another. I would like to suggest at this time that council uses the land value that was included in the lowest of the two appraisals. For your information, the lowest land value for Lot 1 was $205,000. This will help offset the increased cost of lowering the building by $92,500. Page 181. A building height of 15 meters is a main objection presented by all of the neighbors in Strawberry Meadows and vicinity. The neighbors of the proposal are requesting that the maximum building height be 9 meters, the same as their allowable building height. This building height impacts the well-being of neighbors because of the privacy issues. Why is the height of this project more important than the existing neighbors? You need to ask yourself that. Why is it more important? Paragraph 2 of that page indicates that there has been new estimates done and the building and the additional cost would be $1,080,000, more than the proposed multi-story design. In order to do this estimate, there must be a set of drawings for a 2-story building, and the fact that it can be lowered is apparent in this statement. It's easily done with $1 million. I have no sympathy for schedule creep or change in construction start because of construction schedule should have never been set and drawings should have never been started prior to the rezoning and subdivision approval. So we can't use schedule creep and a change in schedule to cause council to sway their minds that it's costing Tamatic status of women a bunch of money. They should have never started before this got going. Okay, speaking to the $1,080,000, there are multiple ways to offset the cost by building a 2-story building. With permission of council, the lowest of the two appraisals could use generate $92,500. First step. If Tamatic status of women wish to voluntarily lower the building to 2 stories, my $100,000 contribution still applies. Number 3. Reduction in the height of the building to 2 stories will generate substantial savings in the cost of elevators. Number 4. I'm prepared to purchase the remaining portion of Lot 461 and add it to my adjoining subdivision. The only appraisal as to the value of Lot 2 is $100,000. We're getting there. Number 5. If Lot 2 remains in the hands of the District of Kitimat, servicing costs to the remaining portion of Lot number 2 will be a cost to Tamatic status of women. Those costs include sewer, water, hydro, gas, storm sewer, and paving. I have first-hand experience in all of those costs, and the number is staggering. The District of Kitimat is forcing Tamatic status of women to build an access by easement to the second lot. Now, last meeting we were talking about this item number 6. Last meeting we were talking about the covenant that was put on the land requiring a lift station. The reason there was a covenant put on phase 1 of Strawberry Meadows to have a lift station installed on each lot is because there's a conflict between the 10-inch gas line and the sanitary sewer. They're at the same elevation. It is possible that this development will require a lift station to access the sanitary sewer. It is also possible that my 25-lot subdivision north of that site will also require a lift station. If that is the case, I'm prepared to pay 100% of the cost of the lift station and share the capacity with Tamatic status of women on a 2-story proposal. It is also likely that a standby generator will be required in the case of power failures. I'm prepared to pay for that generator and share its use with Tamatic status of women. A connection from the generator could be made to the 2-story building. Stormwater management is going to be a huge issue on TSW's proposal because a majority of the site is hard surface, roof or pavement, causing extraordinary storm sewer runoff. I'm also prepared to modify my subdivision plan to extend stormwater runoff onto my property for a 2-story building. I'm only too happy to work with my neighbor, provided they're prepared to work with me. All of the above cost savings should offset the increased cost of a two-story building. Let's move on to page 184. Blocking sunlight building shadow. Bonnie Madison Architects provided a sun shadow report that shows the sun rising at 10 a.m., which we all know is not true in the summer. McElhaney Engineering has provided a sun shadow report which shows the effect on Cranberry Street to be very similar to the effect on 483 Quatsino. The fact that administration has that report and failed to mention it once again shows bias in the process. Page 184, light pollution. For staff to say that they expect downward directed lights to be used on the property is nothing more than speculation. With the parking lot up against the lots on Cranberry Street, every time a vehicle pulls in and out of those parking stalls, light pollution will be shining into the living rooms on the houses on Cranberry Street. As we go on, as one of the residents of Strawberry Meadows states, can you seriously not see the issue with a four-story building? If you want to read more about the opposition to the height of this project, please go to WWYN Kitimat.ca. That stands for Work With Your Neighbor. Sandra Melke was astute enough to point out my spelling of neighbor as N-E-I-G-H-B-O-R. It's not a mistake. The only thing missing with Work With Your Neighbor is you. Have we any questions?
Okay, Councillor Marlowe.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Oviatt. My only question is just that if you can provide your documents that you just read from for us.
I'd be happy
take a look
to,
at.
yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing none. Thank you for your presentation.